All right, welcome back. This is SportsZone on Joy Prime. Your messages are welcome on 0551575757. All right, the number is on your screen. 0551575757. Quite a lot of things to go through tonight on the show, and to help me do that, I've got my two favorite men in the studio, Sito Flavor Trim and Daniel Cranton. Guys, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
The quadruple is on. Daniel, why are you shaking your head?
No, happy into you.
Thank you very much.
It's the first time we've met on the show since.
What is his problem?
What is wrong with you? He take it to grab me.
Ateta is got you thinking. You are thinking. Daniel, pour your heart out. What's the problem?
No, Ateta, how?
What happened?
Oh, Ateta.
What did he do?
Ateta, you can't react.
This is what happened.
What did he do? React to what?
I thought you would react. No, this is pepper spray.
React to what? React to what? Do you know who he was facing?
Oh, Massa, when was the last time Pep beat you? Atetus, when was the last time he beat you?
When he mattered most. The grandma.
Charlie, Pep will sit up against you. Pep is playing defense against you. You can't say something.
He knows you can't do anything with the ball, so he's just relaxed.
Or the Pep surprised Ateta because in the last couple of games he's going to be more of like defensive. But this team looked like they were going for it.
Ateta had everything on the bench, on the field to change and react. Ateta. No, Saka no. What has he done to Ateta? Saka no. What has he done to Ateta? The guy no Onyade, and it's okay. The guy's not doing well. It's okay.
What is it with some of these players when they sign their big contracts and all of a sudden, like, it's unbelievable. It happens.
The guy was already flopping before he signed that.
I can agree.
Saka this season has not done anything.
I can agree.
Oh, Charlie, Ateta.
Are you done? We'll get back to you. So calm down,
again.
I would tray. Calm down.
Hey, Ateta.
Atetus.
Wahami. The guy will
Atetus. Don't worry.
It's still got
deliver 3 more trophies.
3 more trophies to win.
3 more trophies remain. So don't worry. The season
There's plenty to go around.
The season is not bust yet.
City is the EFL Cup.
Ateta has
They will beat them again. Somebody else will knock City out. Don't worry.
Oh, that's the prayer now.
You the best team in the league. You couldn't beat them in the final. They want somebody to do it for you.
The magic of the cup.
Oh, but the teams that are left up, the only magic that can happen is possible against Chelsea. So if you want the magic,
that place there's no magic there.
if you want magic, that's the only thing that can happen.
That place there will be no surprises there. That place there will be no surprises there.
We did.
The normal, guys, I'm going to take you, Pamela, I'm going to take you live to Austria. That's the Black Stars' arrival, and they have 14 players who have started camp at the moment. That's Elisha Owusu and Gideon Mensah arriving in camp there, obviously. Desmond Affair, the assistant coach, and one of the new appointees.
No, that's Gregory.
Gregory de Gros. So the team is in camp, guys. Obviously, today being Monday, all the weekend action was done. The last player to arrive in camp, this is obviously from Sunday, but today, all the players that arrived in camp today, that's Jerome Opoku there, of course, and we saw the arrival of Antoine Semenyo, heroic arrival, if you like, after winning the trophy. And there they are, catching up with some good vibes. I mean, this is always really good to see us. Captain Jordan Ayew at Tizigi there as well. Derek Korn, that was him that just walked past. A lot of the...
When is Asari arriving?
Oh, he's arrived.
He's arrived.
Yeah.
Haven't seen him yet.
There's a lot of, so that's the Red Bull Wafa connection, if you like. But anyway, so Fatau Isahaku also there. So the players just catching up. Obviously, the game is on Friday.
You see him.
And that's Semenyo. Yeah, with his first major trophy of his career. Isahaku hadn't seen him. It's like, yo, Is that you? Oh, come on, bring it in. Mr. Inani is there as well.
You know, he's serious.
Shafer. But anyway, Sijo, I mean, obviously this is really good to see.
Yeah.
The new boys are also in. Saw Daniel J in there as well.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting.
And the Togoli
Senaya
is in
also,
there as
right?
well. Yeah, he was in the picture. Yeah. So very interesting next few days for the Black Stars.
It is. We wouldn't have too many of these things happening before the World Cup, so this is crucial. The last time we had the opportunity, we didn't necessarily pick some of our best players to the place, or many of the players we think will be at the World Cup to the place. So if you look at the squad difference between the Carabao Cup, the last international break, and this one, there are a lot of players who were not in Carabao Cup that are here now. And you suspect most of these players are the ones going to go to the World Cup. So it's crunch time now for Otto Addo and his new technical team. It's crunch time now for some of the players who have to convince the technical team that they should be on that place. We know some are settled, some will be there. Mm-hmm. Some too, their places are up for grabs, so it's for them to convince them. And they've got two very, very, if you like, lovely fixtures to test us, to test Otto, to test the players. You've got Austria, they're a great team. They play some of the best, football in the last 2 years or so. And you've got, of course, it's Germany. They are having their own downtime, but it's still Germany. So yeah, two games to really, really give us a lot to learn from, and give us a lot more notes about the team for us to know a lot more about the team going into the World Cup a couple of months away.
There was a lot of talk about, obviously, Marvin Senaya also being named in the Togo squad. And there was a lot of questions about who he would choose, even though, it was always, the choice was always obvious. And he's made the obvious choice. He's joined the Black Stars. It'll be interesting to see how he copes, how he does, because I suspect that Otto will throw him right into the deep end in this game.
Yeah, we have a need where he plays. He's a right back. We have a serious need at right back. In fact, the lack of a natural right back has forced Otto to be playing Caleb Irenchi there, I think, with the presence of Senaya. And the good thing is that Senaya has two of his club teammates in the Black Stars, in Elisha Usu and Gideon Mensah. So we could have the situation where two of Auxerre's fullbacks are also starting for the Black Stars. And I think he should be thrown in because that's the position we need to guarantee before we go to the World Cup. The sooner he settles, the better for us. And if he goes in and he does a good job, then it means we have an extra body in midfield in Irenchi, who has a skill that the midfielders in the squad, except Partey, do not have. So it's an extra asset in midfield. So it has to happen as quickly as possible. Get him in the starting lineup against Austria and against Germany also. Let him settle and let's see how well he does. And then hopefully he's good enough to make the World Cup squad.
Great stuff. Is there any particular player that you've seen in the past or a player that's just coming in that you particularly want to see? Or maybe a certain combination you want to see? Or is there something that you're very particular about in these friendlies that you're looking out for?
Yeah, it's more about the combinations, as you mentioned, than the individual players. We know our individual players. We've seen them a lot of times now in the last 2 years under Otto. Yeah. But it's a combination that really requires a lot of working on. So if Caleb Irenchi is going to be a midfielder, we want to see Caleb Irenchi, obviously Thomas Partey starts. So Caleb Irenchi, Thomas Partey, and whoever is going to be the other one. Is it Sibo? Is it Elijah Usu? Is it any of those midfielders? What kind of partnership are they going to form in the middle of the park? It's crucial. It's been a problem area for our team for a couple of times now. So we need to begin to find those partnerships, those chemistry, that understanding. And also, we have some very talented individuals up front. We just don't know our best three front players yet, because we know for sure we're going to go with three in the middle of the park, for sure. It's going to be three. That is left with three other players up front. But what's the best combination? Where does Semenyo play? Because it's obviously Ghana's best player now this year. So how do we get the best out of Semenyo? Jordan Ayew, the captain, has had a brilliant year under review. So how does he fit in? Who takes the other position? Is it Fatai Sahaku is playing well, but even if it's Fatai Sahaku, and when Kudus returns, what is the partnerships we are looking at? What are the dynamics of the game? How are they going to team up? Is it flexible? Is it rigid? Is it that Semenyo is going to start on the right, on the left, and stay there throughout? Can he be swapping with the other player on the other wing? What is Jordan's role? How far advanced in attack is it going to be? How are we drawn? There are a lot of things that we need to find a balance to. And, of course, we always knew it was going to be Salisu Njiku. Now that it's not going to be Salisu Njiku, is it Jerome Opoku and Njiku? And how does that balance? Gideon Mensah, I know for sure starts at left back, but the right back position has been a problem. What is going to happen? So these are the things I'm keenly keeping an eye on.
Even for me, I feel like I need an extended look at Derek Korn at that left back position, because I know for sure that we've had conversations about even a player like Baba Rahman, but I suspect that he might not be part of his team. Going to the World Cup.
Absolutely.
If that's the case, then it's obvious, and from the experience in Qatar, that Otuado will chop and change the team as much as possible. The left back position was a place where he changed up.
Throughout the competition.
Exactly, at the World Cup in Qatar. So I really want to see. He's got dead ball ability as well, right? So he's got a goal threat in him. So I want to see him in an extended period. To see how he does.
Yeah, that's a big shout.
Yeah. Lucasen and Pfeiffer, very interesting case for those two. Pfeiffer obviously switched nationality just before the World Cup, but never really had a chance. I think he went on a camp with the Black Stars to Turkey, but he never
got the
exactly, and that was the end of that. Lucasen, on the other hand, we've never seen him in Black Stars before. We know what he does at Paphos. He plays with David Luiz, and he's played 8 Champions League games this season. So you see that there is a certain quality there. But Danica, speak to me about the centre back situation. What do you think also might be doing here? Because you've got 4 of them now. How do you find the right balance before you name your final squad?
I think we've seen, apart from Pfeiffer and Lucas, and I think the rest in there are sort of regulars. I think if anything, there's one place that is up for grabs with the absence of Mohamed Salisu. So I don't know the dynamics and how Otto will name the squad, but per what he's done in previous call-ups, you can tell that there's an extra centre-back in these call-ups. So if he's going to revert to type, then it means there's one spot up for grabs between Pfeiffer and Lucas, and then I will take Pfeiffer. I think he's better with the ball build up from the back. He has a much better ball technique in terms of passing and vision, and his height also is a huge asset. For Lucasen, I don't think he's bad. I watched the Paphos and Monaco game, but in that game, I'm not going to lie, I didn't know he was Ghanaian, so I was not really keeping an eye out for him. But coach pointed something out to me, his disciplinary record, which it's very
Which got you thinking.
Yeah, 67 yellow cards in total in his career, 12 red cards. It could be an issue because you are playing the highest level of football you can ever reach in the World Cup, and the pressure is high, and your decision making has to be at that level. You can't afford to have a player who is card happy, a trigger happy when it comes to tackles and making mistakes at the back. So the fact that he's not had an extended period with this team, he's not settled, this is first time coming into this team. And unless we see a top-class performance or top-class performances in these 2 games, I think it will be quite difficult for him to break into the World Cup squad. But I think Pfeiffer is, for me, a much better asset going into the World Cup than Lucasen also. And Lucasen's pace could also be an issue. But I would pick Pfeiffer if I was Otto. I'll give him a call and tell him that I need a Pfeiffer.
If Lucasen is not coming in for a specific job, then it raises a bit of questions about why he scored around this time because he's not any younger. So if he's a young defender and you're thinking, okay, you can bring him around the squad, get him to be part of it, even if he doesn't make the squad for the World Cup, you've had a good look at him in training, you know what to expect from him, and then maybe for the AFCON challenge and everything. But when a player is on the other side of the age 30 and he's not coming in to do a specific job for you, then I'm not too sure why he's around. So it'll be interesting to see what Otto does with those options.
All right, so we'll keep an eye out for that particular game. It's at 5 p.m., I believe, on Friday?
Yeah, 5 p.m. Friday.
So it'll be 5 p.m. on Friday. So I'm sure that we'll all be looking forward to that particular match. So keep an eye out for that. All right. Away from that, let's get some Ghana Premier League action out the window because Kumasi Asante Kotoko found their way back to winning ways by beating Nations FC 3-0. It was a very interesting game of football. For Hearts of Oak, yet again, another draw, 4 matches now. They can't seem to find the victory. And it looks like, it looks like at the moment that the University of Ghana Stadium 2 has sacked them. So now they are going back to the Accra Sports Stadium because the University of Ghana Stadium needs to close down for renovation work ahead of the African Senior Athletics Championships in May. But anyway, so let's take a look at the Kumasi Asante Kotoko game and how it went down. All right, so that's that. Kumasi Asante Kotoko 3-0 winner. Hearts of Oak, on the other hand, they just don't know how to win. Let's look at the 4 results from this week's Ghana Premier League action. Hearts of Lions nil, Hearts of Oak nil, so no goals to show you from that particular game. Wonders and Samatex 2-2 as well. Brooklyn Chelsea 2-0 winners over Karela United, Pechem also 2-1 winners over Ghana Stars. Ghana Stars they've sort of lost a bit of steam in recent weeks. Mediama as well. The day that Nike came to praise them here, that was when they started losing. They lost again to Dreams FC 2-1. All Blacks also 1-0 winners over Hoho United. So what does that mean for the table in the Ghana Premier League? Kotoko have moved up to 3rd on the table. So there you go. So Gold Stars have overtaken Mediama now for the first time. So it's looking more like the title defense might just be on. Sicho, no? I mean, 48 points, 2 points ahead of Mediama, and some 6 points ahead of Kotoko. Even if Kotoko would say that, never say that, and Hearts of Oak as well,
Don't like you've not seen Hearts of Oak.
I mean, Hearts of Oak certainly not, but for Kumasi Asante Kotoko, there's a real chance. But this is an interesting dynamic. I would be honest and say I did not expect the sort of fall
from
that has befallen Mediama Football Club.
Yeah, because they were playing so well. They had played so well at the start of the season. They had a very healthy lead at the top, and all the teams beneath them didn't look like they would find any consistency or rhythm. And all of a sudden, their performance have gone that way. And other teams are beginning to pick up on them. Let's be fair, we had to Kotoko have not necessarily had the results that, if you like, they've put together consistently. But because Mediama have been falling that way that fast, it's been easy for them to keep in and around the title chase. So it can be deceptive to Hearts and Kotoko. It's almost as if when you look at the point, you're like, oh, it's not too bad. But they've not been good. It's Mediama that has really fallen off the cliff in the last couple of weeks. That's why it looks like they are in the race. But let's see how it goes in the final games of the season.
All right, okay, so that's what we're going to do. So we'll see what becomes of this league chase and whether Kotoko can mount a late charge for the league title. All right, so, all right, listen, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're zooming straight into the biggest story of the week, Senegal and Morocco's controversial ruling from the Africa Cup of Nations final back from January 18. Of course, as you know, CAF says that Senegal are no longer champions. Senegal say they will appeal the decision, but we have fresh news for you. Senegal apparently have not yet filed the appeal. What does that mean for their case? Has the window elapsed, or they have eternity to decide when they want to appeal? And then, of course, Sicho has also got a presentation here. He's taking one stand all the way from the very beginning. And tonight on the show, he's prepared a very special presentation for why he believes his position is getting more and more validated as the days have gone by. This is SportsZone. Do stay with us. Welcome back to SportsZone. Proudly brought to you by Piva Beverages, Soccerbet, Syntex Tank, as well as Guinness. Let me take a couple of messages before we get to Sicho. Good evening, SportsZone. We all thought VAR has come to favour United and Madrid to the extent that players could be called back to the field after the final whistle to award United a penalty. But that incident against Newcastle was a penalty for United, in my view. The first time VAR is going against United. I hope this is the beginning of good things to come. Greetings to all Chelsea fans in China. I don't know, man.
It was a Bournemouth game, not Newcastle.
Yeah, I think it might have been an old message. Sorry about that. Okay, here you go.
It probably is the Ahmad incident that he thinks was a penalty for Man United. He just maybe picked the wrong team for the opposition.
He's
Yeah,
confused.
maybe.
He's a Chelsea fan.
All right. Good evening, SportsZone. Okay, so that's what I just read. This one said, an incident happened at my church yesterday, and I still don't understand. During the sermon, the pastor asked the congregation to open to Jeremiah chapter 8, verse 2. Then the Chelsea fans in the church got angry and are now threatening to leave the church permanently. Please, what offense did the pastor commit? Jeremiah chapter 8, verse 2. Okay, no problem. How about they will left your church? Elon from Amasaman says, the only difference between an slot and near loss is the arrangement of letters. My name is Elon from Amasaman. Please, DSTV has moved all Chelsea matches to Cartoon Network, channel 301, in order to create space for serious games and serious teams. Okay, Elon,
That's
thank
a good
you.
one.
Jacobsco in Yeji says, bonsoir, Monsieur Fentu. Oh, bonsoir, bonsoir, bonsoir. Eddie at TV watching you live from Lomé, Togo. I just want you to give you guys a big up for what you are doing for sports in general and for football in particular. Merci beaucoup. Merci beaucoup to you too. That's a message from Eddie at TV. Jacobsco's message says, good evening to you guys. Why, Danny, they whip like that? You be Arsenal fan? If so, then I'm sorry. Why? Mr. Fentio, no long talk, Pierre. I'm coming for my Salah gift. No problem. The Salah gift is waiting for you. Francis in Osu says, I am for Senaya choosing Ghana over Togo. I'll be watching how he fits into the team. Also, happy for Semenyo winning his first trophy with Man City. And for Danny, he should cry more. Friend, I'm not sure this Rosemary guy can do something meaningful with this Chelsea team. So I think he should be sacked. Francis, thank you for your message. Pilo Lopez Vives in Suyani says, Carlo Ancelotti dropped Lunin in the Champions League final when Courtois became available after injury and he won it. That's a hallmark of a coach with balls, and that has made him successful. And you say, Arteta hasn't won a trophy in a while, and you get the chance in the final, and you don't put your first choice goalkeeper, knowing your opponent is likely to play their second goalkeeper. Why don't you take advantage of that? Interesting question. Pilo Lopez Vives in Suyane. Apart from Awoshi says, anytime I see the Blaster squad, I can't help but feel sorry for Daniel Kofi, a proper player. You see, this Club World Cup win has somewhat affected Chelsea negatively, especially with recruitment, because they felt the players were up there, and it's now showing. It's too clear. Mike Maignan was literally available for peanuts, shaking my head. So, clearly unhappy with Chelsea's situation. You can also send your thoughts through to us on 055-1575757. I'll share them with the rest of our viewers from around the world. So here we are then. Morocco and Senegal still at a stalemate. Senegal said they will not return the AFCON trophy or medals and that they will appeal. But now we're hearing they've not appealed. And as the days have progressed, the case has been evolving. At the beginning, everybody was up in arms and said, this is outrageous, it's scandalous, it cannot happen. But as the days have evolved and the case has progressed, and new facts have emerged, and better interpretation of the regulations have been, acquired by legal luminaries. It's looking more and more like Senegal's case might be weakening, or that's what Sicho believes, and he's come here to prove it. No?
Yeah, absolutely. Not necessarily prove it, but
to make a case.
Try to explain why I think that Senegal have got no case at all. Try to explain why I think Morocco are going to be the winners, and the appeals committee's decision is going to be upheld. And so I pulled out some of the rule book that we've got, right? The rule book that we've got that we are going to be playing with, and we know that is what CAF is going to use. That is what the appeals committee used, and that is what is also going to be used at CAS. Okay. Now, what happened in the game is clear. So when the game was unfolding, Senegal were unhappy that the referee had awarded the penalty to Morocco right at the death of the game. It was it would have been very painful. And then Senegal were unhappy. Referee went to check the VAR. Senegal said they wouldn't play again. Quite clearly, we saw the coach Paptia walk onto the pitch and actually instruct the boys to head to the dressing room. So you saw lots of them head into the dressing room. In fact, it's been said that Ibrahim Mbaye, the PSG young footballer who was also very electrifying at the AFCON, straight away went to Snapchat to post something on Snapchat, later came to apologize for it and everything. So then Senegal left the pitch and then eventually came to play. Now, the issue went to the disciplinary committee. The disciplinary committee brought out their sanctions, and Morocco said, no, you didn't apply the rule to the latter. We demand more. So they went to appeal, as they should. So in all of this, I think it's Morocco who have followed the right protocols. And in all of this, I think it is Senegal who let themselves and Africa down by walking off the pitch. So what does the rule say about in the CAF disciplinary code? I screenshotted this straight away so that I'm not going to type it into any presentation. I want it to be the same feel, the same wording and everything so everybody can appreciate it. So, and when you read the ruling that the appeals board brought out, it specifically did mention the Article 82 and 84, that based on those two articles, they were going to strip Senegal of the title, forfeit the game, and then hand it over to Morocco. But what we suspect in 82 is that because Senegal walked off, it meant they abandoned the game. So what does it say when you abandon the game from the CAF's disciplinary, rule book? So it says, 1, if a team refuses to play a match or to continue playing one which has begun, it will be sanctioned with a minimum fine of $20,000 and will, in principle, forfeit the match.
In principle.
In principle. So in this case, as soon as Senegal refused to continue to play the match which had begun, in principle, they had forfeited the game. This rule here didn't leave room for Senegal to walk off, cool off, have a talking to, and return to the pitch. Right. There's nothing like that. So it doesn't give any duration that a referee has to wait for 2 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 or 30. As soon as they left the pitch without the authorization of the referee, while the game was continuing and continue playing one which has begun, Senegal, in principle, had forfeited the game. Yeah. Now, when we say in principle they forfeited the game, the referee might as well continue the game. But in principle, the forfeiture is there. And that is why the rule then will allow anybody who feels hard done by the game continuing to go and appeal. So it goes on to say in point 2 that in serious cases, the team will also be disqualified from the competition in progress. I'll come to this later, so let's keep this in mind. The point 3 says, this is subject to the provisions of the competition's regulations. So this competition was the Africa Cup of Nations, the AFCON, which has its own regulation as well. So the CAF disciplinary code is saying that we can also go into the AFCON regulation and then see what it says there, because this is subject to the provisions in the competition regulation. So if we move it on.
What it means is that if the AFCON regulations contradict this, then the AFCON regulations are the ones that stand.
Yes.
That's what it's subject to.
Absolutely. So we have to go there and see if in that AFCON regulation it backs what is being said here or not. So let's move there. If we move the slide on to the next one, then we are going into the AFCON. This is the AFCON specific rule book. So it's
on withdrawals.
On withdrawals. So speak about, again, the screenshots, not typing, no editing, nothing. Raw keke. So in Article 82, it says, and this is clearer and broader, that if for any reason or whatsoever, whether the referee gave a pen you didn't want, whether your player was injured, whether the referee insulted you, whether somebody threw something, for any reason or whatsoever, a team withdraws from the competition or does not report for a match or refuses to play or leaves the ground before the regular end of the match without the authorization of the referee, it shall be considered loser and shall be eliminated for good from the current competition. The same shall apply for the teams previously disqualified by decision of CAF. So this part of the rule book in 83 is clear that when a team refuses to play, and indeed Senegal refused to play at some point in the game and walked off.
Yes.
That was a refusal to play. They went down into the dressing room and everything. They refused to play. Again, what this article doesn't provide is what will remedy Senegal's walking off. So Senegal might have returned to the pitch to continue the game, but they indeed refused to play. And the punishment of refusing to play is clearly spelled out here. It shall be considered. And at that point, it is not to the discretion of the referee. So people have said that the referee can decide whatever he does. Once he uses his discretion, that is it. But this doesn't allow the referee to use his discretion. It doesn't say it in here. And that is why in the disciplinary code, it's said that you forfeit the game in principle. So even if the referee uses his discretion, the forfeiture is there. But it leaves room for whoever feels aggrieved to come and appeal. So Morocco have appealed this. Now, if you go to Article 83, and I've seen people wrongly bring Article 83 into this problem, but it shouldn't be. A team that shall not be present on the ground, dressed to play at the time fixed for the kickoff or at most 15 minutes later, shall forfeit the match. The referee shall register the absence of the team and shall write it in his report. The organizing committee shall take the final decision in this respect. This didn't happen. We didn't see this happening. And in fact, Article 82 and 83 can't happen together by one team in one game. Because Article 83 speaks about a team that has failed to report to the ground, failed to dress to play at the time that is fixed for the kickoff. So the referee, when the game is supposed to start at 3 o'clock, and the referee goes to stand in the center circle at 3 o'clock, and it's 3:15, the referee can close the game and shall declare them losers, and then he writes in his report. In fact, if the referee registered this absence of the team in his report, right, the organizing committee shall take the final decision. It doesn't even leave it to the discretion of the referee to take. So when people say everything that happens on the pitch is down to the referee, and even forfeiture of every single game is down to the referee, the rule book doesn't even spell that out and give that power to the referee. Even in 83, which doesn't apply to Senegal, by the way, doesn't do that. 82 doesn't do that. But it's 84 that's then the appeals committee also then used. So it says, the team which contravenes the provisions of Article 82 and 83 shall be eliminated for good from the competition. This team will lose its match by 3-0 unless the opponent has scored a more advantageous result at the time when the match was interrupted. Now, was Senegal and Morocco's game interrupted? It was interrupted by Senegal walking off. Now, in this case, this score will be maintained. That is, if the team that stayed on the pitch and didn't interrupt the game had a more advantageous score than 3-0, then the organizing committee may adopt further measures. So the punishment for 82 and 83 is cast in stone. What the organizing committee can do is to punish them further or adopt further measures to look at these issues. So, and when you read Article 84, which actually maps out the punishment the team should face, the wording is so clear that it makes room for 83 and makes room for 82. The room it makes for 82 is that if the game is already in progress and then the team that is forfeiting the game is losing by a score line more advantageous than 3-0, that score line stays. But in Article 83, there is no way a game that hasn't started, the team that is on the pitch can be winning by a better score line than the 3-0. So at that point, you forfeit the game and you get 3-0. But when Senegal walked off, the scoreline at the time was goalless. So when you forfeit the game at that point, it is what?
3-0 defeat.
3-0. So this is what the CAF ruling from the appeals board mentioned, Article 82 and Article 84. So this is where I think that Senegal are caught in the web because they indeed refused to play and they left the pitch. And when you even go into the French wedding, on Friday we were on a show, when you go into the way the French put the wedding out, instead of the ground, you use le terrain.
Le terrain.
Le terrain, which actually means the pitch. So the French would have been reading that if for any reason or whatsoever a team withdraws from the competition or does not report for a match or refuses to play or leaves the pitch before regular end of the game match without the authorization of the referee, it shall. Morocco and Senegal, all of them, they speak French.
Yes.
They would have been reading this and appealing this in French. Now, let's look at what people are saying could be the case for Senegal. Now, people are saying that once the referee allowed them to continue the game, then the appeals committee has no jurisdiction over the game because the referee's decision is final. The disciplinary code of the referee actually says it, that the referee's decision is final. Of CAF actually said the referee's decision is final. But it went on further, and I think people have not caught that. So it says the referee, during matches, disciplinary decisions are taken by the referee. These decisions are final. But I'm imagining that when people reached the point 2, they stopped reading. Because when you read further on point 3, the jurisdiction of the judicial bodies may apply. It referenced us to Article 11. So let's go to Article 11 and see what Article 11 says if we move on to the next one, because it quite clearly says something. Now, this is Article 11, specific jurisdiction. Now, the disciplinary board is responsible for sanctioning infringements, which may or may not have escaped the match official's attention. Now, we know that when you walk off the pitch in itself without the referee's authorization, it is an infringement. The referee might have come to continue the game because he may or may not, it may or may not have escaped the referee. But even if it escaped the referee,
or even if it did not,
or even
in this
if
case,
it did not, in this case, well, let's say
because he was aware of it, he didn't.
Let's just say the referee poked, he was, the tension.
But he knew what had happened.
Yes, and he didn't apply the rule. The same disciplinary code gives room for specific jurisdiction to come back and correct the error that the referee made in the game.
Yeah.
So sanctioning infringements which may or may not have escaped the match official's attention.
So the CAF disciplinary board gives, the CAF disciplinary code gives the disciplinary board authority to interfere in decisions of the referee that he may or may not have been aware of during the game.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So in other words, they can correct referees' errors.
They can correct referees.
Including a game that he had seen to the conclusion.
Yes. They can correct the referee's errors. Everything, he can correct it. So, and this is what it says. So if the referee missed it, and you see, this is why teams can even go and appeal red cards. And then they'll look at it and say, the referee didn't apply the right rule, so we rescind the decision. But when the referee makes the decision on the pitch, that decision is final on the pitch. But when they leave the pitch, it is not final because this jurisdiction is not on the pitch. It is outside the pitch. So when the referee gives a red card, you walk off. When the referee gives a goal that you think is offside, you will still go and pass and play. But after the game, if you've got a case from the codes, from the laws and the statutes, you can always go and appeal. So when you read it, it says, the board is responsible for sanctioning all offenses which occur prior, during, and after a fixture. So if they can sanction all offenses which occur during and after a fixture, a sanction that a referee has already meted out to a team, they can further increase it or they can take it off. In this case, Senegal did something, and the rule spells out what should be the punishment for what they did. So the appeals board, the disciplinary board, can actually sanction the offenses that the referee failed to sanction, which was to forfeit the game once Senegal walked off without his authorization, and then declare Morocco as 3-0 winners. So they can come back to this. They can rectify obvious errors in disciplinary decisions based on a referee's report. So if the referee's report goes, and then the referee says Senegal walked off and he didn't give them the permission to walk off, they can rectify the error, because Senegal walking off, as we've already explained, means that they had forfeited the game in walking off. Again, that rule didn't leave room for Senegal to come back and continue and say, because we came, it means we didn't forfeit it. So they forfeited it. Extending the duration of suspension incurred automatically by expulsion. Now, after what Senegal has done, they also have the right to actually ban Senegal further. And that's why the rule book said they can take further actions against those who go against it. So, pronouncing additional sanctions to those imposed by the referee, such as a fine, blah, 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 and all of that. So, friends, when people that Senegal have got the case simply because they returned to finish the game, the rule book that we are playing by doesn't actually endorse that.
So returning to continue the game is not a remedial measure.
It
does not undo the refusal to play.
Absolutely.
Because the moment they step off the pitch, the sanction for refusal to play immediately applies, because that action alone of just leaving the pitch constitutes a refusal to play. That's what
I'm very happy you understand everything I've said, and I'm sure that viewers at home would have understood. And it's important we are doing this now because now the emotions are down. When the ruling came, nobody was listening. Everybody's mind was cast in stone on their position. So it's unfair, It's never, and truly it's never happened. What Senegal did has never happened. This has really never happened. So it's unfair and without necessarily looking at the articles that the appeals board quoted. And so now that I think the emotions are down, and that is why the conversation even on social media and across the world is changing. Because people have now toned down, people are now reading and understanding the gravity of it. And finally, friends, even the punishment scarf the appeal board gave to Senegal is not adequate. It isn't. Because Senegal can't even be second in this AFCON. When you forfeit the game in the manner in which Senegal did, and we don't have time, so I won't go through. When you read, again, take that AFCON regulations, read from Article 85 downwards. When you forfeit in the manner in which you did, all the results in the competition to you is nullified. So Senegal then would be the last, if we are ranking all the teams in the AFCON, the 24 teams, Senegal would be last. What this means is, if Nigeria wants a better result from the AFCON, they should also be appealing that they came in second. Or it should actually be automatic, no appeals. Senegal could not have been second.
Because it's not just about stripping Senegal of the title. You're saying that Senegal, by these stipulations, should also have been kicked out of the competition.
They should be kicked out of the competition.
And if a team is kicked out of the competition, then you graduate the results. Of all the... So you nullify their results, and then you graduate all the other teams.
Nigeria will be silver winners, and Mohamed Salah will get bronze. He won't work out the tournament without anything. He will get bronze for his efforts. And if you want to extend it, maybe Senegal should even be banned for a tournament or two.
Interesting.
So that is why people are saying that even Senegal have not, and Senegal need to take their time to raise their appeal. No pressure. If they have a genuine case, and they'll be interested, all of us want this education. It's never happened before. We want to see the precedent this is going to set. Senegal should take their time, raise their case, and go to CAS. But if going to CAS means that even CAS now would give them the sanctions that Article 85, 86, 87 says, the Senegal risk still losing the title and still being suspended for bringing the game in disrepute, walking off the pitch without the authorization of the referee.
Yeah, interesting. Very interesting submission from Sicho. And I don't know, wherever you're listening to us, I'm interested in your thoughts for sure, what you make of that. His conclusion is that it's public opinion, or even the letter of the law is still taking more and more in favor of what the appeals board have done, more and more against Senegal's actions. You know, but I just have a quick question about spirit of the law and letter of the law, especially those stipulations about the jurisdictions of the judicial bodies from the CAF disciplinary code, about how they have an ability to interfere, to rectify errors of the referee. Presumably, isn't that supposed to deal with things like maybe fouls, wrong red cards, and stuff like that? But things like goals and results are not necessarily a part of it, because I haven't seen a lot of examples of goals being nullified that were wrongfully allowed, or those that were wrongfully disallowed being rectified by judicial bodies.
Absolutely not,
I haven't seen those. So that's why I'm saying that what you read may be the letter of the law, but that it wasn't meant to rectify those kinds of issues, but rather maybe issues to do with wrong red cards or player misidentification, or even things to do with like, I don't know, other things other than goals and results. Because otherwise, let's say, I'll give you a good example, that if judicial bodies have the right to rectify every refereeing error, including goals and things like finality of result, then let's say at the World Cup, the England-Germany game, Frank Lampard's goal crossed the line. Clear and obvious error, missed by the referee.
So do you know what they do then? Do you know what they do in those instances? When you appeal, right, they'll look at the matter and look at it and come back in plain terms and say, you are right, that goal shouldn't have stood. It's on record. And that's the reprieve. For example, Man United are going to appeal for the penalty that wasn't given them against Bournemouth. They are not going to go back to take that penalty, but it will be on record that the referee got it wrong. So you can appeal those things, but it won't be changed. But in this case, in this case of the forfeiture, the appeals committee won't tell you the referee got it wrong. And so Senegal keeps their title. In fact,
why not? It's a referee error. Like you rightly explained, the referee should have made the decision. He made the wrong decision. And then a result accrued out of that wrong decision.
The decision the referee makes that doesn't involve the other team being part of the problem causing. It's different. If the referee gives a wrong goal, it's only on the referee. If, in this case, it wasn't the referee causing the problem.
Okay, Sicho, we're gonna need to fix your microphone a little bit.
Right.
But Danike, briefly on that, because we really need to go into the other action from Europe. But very interesting analysis from Sicho, obviously. But I don't know, because my thinking is that if we leave all of this to just law and law and law and law, the game is going to be completely destroyed in terms of having to have judicial bodies rectifying every error of the referees.
Look, I completely get where you're coming from, but this is my view. First of all, you should have given me 2 working days to be able to respond to this. Or maybe you should
I can give you next week. This matter. This is CAS 2.0.
Yeah, or maybe you should have told me Sicho was planning something so that I also go back and find
the right response.
Yeah,
so then we can move on. We can do it on a different day.
But no, just to quickly comment on what Sicho did. My qualms with the whole issue was, per the rules that I read, I felt like, or the understanding I got was, the referee's decision on the pitch is final, and the results of the game are binding. So I felt CAF's decision to retrospectively change the result was unfair. Not that I didn't think that Senegal deserved a punishment of that manner. I thought that the game should have been forfeited when they did that. Because again, CAF cannot condone that sort of behavior. So if the rebuttal now becomes, if we go by the letter of the law, the game will be destroyed if teams know that they can walk off the pitch, continue playing, and end up winning. It's a risk some may be willing to take. But if, and per what Sicho has explained, and this is mine, if what CAF has done is not illegal, then I don't have any issue with it. So if it goes to CAS and the decision is upheld, I'm not going to be angry with CAF or CAS. I'm not a lawyer.
Yeah, of course.
They are the ones who know exactly what they are doing. So if CAF have made their decision, I'm only against it because I think it's illegal. But if it goes to CAS and is upheld, I'm not going to have any...
In fact, just a second on the earlier question you asked about the decision that the Apple's committee can change, the referee makes an error. There are errors that are only on the referee. Only on the referee. Both teams have no part to play, right? So if somebody scores a goal and the referee gives the goal, it's not the fault of the player who scored the goal that the referee gave a goal that wasn't supposed to be given. So those are the things that they can't change necessarily. Now, and those things are on the referee. And again, if it brings the game to the finality of it, then they won't change it. But when the team in question or individual players are the one faulting, for example, somebody had a reckless challenge on somebody, the referee missed it, they can come back and punish that player even after the referee missed it.
Right.
If the team walked off, that is not on the referee. The team walked off and the referee missed it, they can come and change that. But if it's an offside, the referee didn't give it, it's a goal, the referee didn't give it, you can appeal and they'll come back and tell you, you are right. What you appealed, it is true. It should have been a goal. It should have been an offside. And so we are sorry. But in this case, there is no sorry attached to the rule for it. It has a strict sanction attached to it. And for me, as Danny said, otherwise, when we go to the World Cup and we're under pressure against Hurricane and then Declan Rice, Otto should call the boys to go and rest for 5 minutes, regroup, and come back.
Yeah.
And then we'll continue and maybe we'll get a draw. Or Asari will make a save.
I've got a message here from Fifi Aite. He says I should ask you a question. Just Fent, when were these articles written? And does it apply to the 1976 AFCON when the Moroccans walked off? And
I think you can answer that.
And the 1978 third place game when the Tunisians walked off. Please, I want to know. And please tell Sicho, this is not the first time it's happening. It's the third time players walked off. It happened in 76, 78, and 2026. I'm smiling because it did not happen in 1976. That was a fabricated story. And I've got my chat open, so if you can find a credible report or account, written video of any sort proving that in 1976, Morocco walked off the pitch, I'm ready to learn and change my stance. But I've done a lot of work on that particular story, and it's been proven to be a fake story. So let me just remind you that 2 days ago, a Guinean player who took part in the game said it didn't happen. And then yesterday, Guinea Football Federation released a whole statement on that matter to say that they played the game, they lost the game. Well, it was a 1-1 draw. Yeah. But they lost that AFCON because they were the ones that finished second. And they are the ones that stand to gain if Morocco gets stripped of that AFCON title retrospectively. And they're saying that story is simply fabricated. It never happened. 1976, Morocco did not walk off the pitch. So I hope that we can bury that matter. I don't know who started it, but it's a fake story. It's fake news. So as I said, I've got my chat open. So if you've got a credible news report, BBC, GBC, whatever, anywhere.
The federation says it's not true.
The federation says it's not true. So the federation says it's not true. It's like somebody says 1963, 63, 65, 68 AFCON, we lost the final. If like somebody says, 68, Ghana walked up. Oh no, okay, we lost what? Tunisia. I said Tunisia walked off the pitch. Or not Tunisia, another country like that. They walked off the pitch, and Ghana says, we lost our final. We played that final.
We lost it.
We didn't walk off the pitch.
It's a crew rest later and says that it didn't happen.
It didn't happen. No, it's true. It's true. It's like the actors say it didn't happen. And these are the Guineans, not the Moroccans.
It's not in CAF's records.
Yeah.
Guinea to say they didn't do it. Morocco said they didn't do it.
Yeah.
So the organizer and the two teams that played the final both said it didn't happen. So whose father was at the stadium? Who's that guy who has been spreading the false reports? You need to find that person.
All right. Anyway, so that's that. We'll see. We'll see what becomes of that. All right. Okay. So 1976, it didn't happen. If you had to show me 1976, if Morocco left the pitch against Guinea, show me. I'm interested. Because Guinea's Football Federation says it didn't happen, and they played in the game, and they say it didn't happen. So let's bury that story, okay? And then for the Nigeria versus third place, I don't know. I'm more interested in Morocco, and the lies that they've peddled against them about the 76 AFCON. That didn't happen. That did not happen. So if anybody told you that Morocco walked off the pitch, it didn't happen. Don't believe anybody. It didn't happen. Okay, Guinea said it didn't happen. The players who played the game said it didn't happen. So we should sit here who were not there in the match. We say it has happened. We don't have any report to prove it. Then we say it has happened. It didn't happen. All right, we'll take a short break, okay? When we come back, we'll go into the Carabao Cup final and show you some other highlights from across Europe. Welcome back. This is SportsZone, brought to you by Piva Beverages, producers of this lovely drink here, the Piva Viva strawberry drink, Guinness, Soccer Bet, and Syntex Tank. We're going to take you straight to Wembley Stadium. That's where Man City beat Arsenal 2-0 to win the Carabao Cup 2026. Man City champions again of the Carabao Cup, denying Arsenal a first trophy since 2020. So it's been a long time coming, but it's not happened for them. Danike, at the start of the show, you sounded very frustrated. I'm guessing the frustration is born out of what you believe was a missed opportunity.
Yeah, look.
Do you really think that there was a universe, a situation, a scenario where in this game at Wembley with a trophy at stake, Arteta could beat Pep?
Of course.
Why it's never happened before, but go on.
Have they faced in the final before?
They have now.
He met him. Arteta's first trophy for Arsenal. He beat City in the semi-final, beat Chelsea in the final.
No problem.
That was an even more inexperienced Arteta.
No problem.
You've grown a team that is capable of competing with the best teams in the world. You are top of the league. You are final of Carabao Cup, quarter-final of both the Champions League and the FA Cup. This is your time. You are facing the weakest Manchester City team. In fact, this City's Pep's first team when he joined the Premier League in his first season. It's better than this current Manchester City team. And you go into a final where you were expected to, or Arsenal went into the final as favourites, and you go and you play like this. The only big chance in the game that you had came after 7 minutes. After that, you created nothing. There was no threat whatsoever. You could not stop the opposition from breaching your back line. It's a serious problem. Look.
You understand the concept of force them to play nonsense?
Yeah, that's what was happening. Arsenal couldn't think, Arsenal couldn't play. And the thing is, after the first half, which I thought was pretty balanced, but Arsenal slightly edged it. As soon as the second half started, Arsenal couldn't cope with the intensity the extra Man City had in the middle and the control that Rodri and Bernardo Silva were offering. They were clearly being outrun. My point is, it wasn't working. Yeah. I understand that all the number 10s in the team were injured. Yeah. All of them. Eze is out, Odegaard is injured. Havertz, who has hardly played as a number 10, had to make shift. But the issue is, it wasn't working. Arsenal didn't have control. When they picked up the ball, they were even struggling to bypass the Man City press, which was so effective and was cutting out both Zubimendi and Rice.
They weren't even pressing. They just arranged men.
Yeah, but they were blocking passing.
That's what I mean.
So,
but it wasn't intense.
Yeah, but it was very well coordinated and intense.
No, I get it.
Yes, I get it. It was intense.
But we've seen a different
pressing.
It wasn't high pressing.
Yes.
It doesn't always have to be high pressing. The point is, the pressing structure they exhibited on the day was very
efficient.
Very efficient. It worked perfectly. And Arsenal was struggling. My point is, look, Arteta, this is where the best in the world differentiate themselves. Your game plan is clearly not working. You look at the options you have on the bench. And one thing that was really hurting Arsenal was the incessant pressure from City. Once Arsenal picked up the ball, the only out ball they had was to go long. And anytime they went long, it was even if Havertz won the first header, Gyökeres struggled to hold possession. If Gyökeres won the first header, Havertz was struggling to hold possession because the two were so isolated in the Man City area. And the ground and the pace and strength of Kushanov and Ake, especially Kushanov runs like, I think he's faster than almost all the Man City attacking players. The guy is quick and he's strong. He can cover a lot of ground. So you may see it as space, but in a split second, he has covered the ground. They were struggling. He had to do something. You don't have control. There's Zubimendi Rice can't offer you that level of control that road. But you can add extra runners in there. There was Norgard on the bench. There was Miles Kelly, who is a natural midfielder. Put them in that position where they are natural. And it will force Manchester, even if it does not completely cut out the danger, it will limit it to a point. Secondly, if City decided or Pep decided to start Trafford, because Trafford has been catching since day one, that's on Pep Guardiola. He has the record number of Carabao Cup. So he can afford to do that. But you, Arteta, you've not won the trophy before. The final is not where you experiment. When was the last time Kepa caught a competitive game, like a proper high-tension competitive game? He doesn't catch. He's off his rhythm. One of the best players in your team is your goalkeeper, in Raya. Start him. When you win and you have excess trophies that you want to dash, then you can go and start Kepa. Or maybe next season or 2 seasons from now. When you've won enough, then you can throw in Kepa to have his field day. Sitcho made a very good point off camera. That if you chose to start Kepa out of loyalty because he's the one who has kept post all to competition, then why didn't you play Dauman and start Madueke and Norgard? Because they are the ones who have also been playing from
the Carabao Cup, yeah.
But the point is, if you saw the need to play your best outfield players from the season, why didn't you see the need to play your best goalkeeper? Because in as much as Arteta didn't change anything when that pressure was happening, the breakthrough came from a goalkeeping error.
True.
So I could sit down and say, maybe Arteta was waiting for a couple of minutes for it to settle, maybe 60th minute, and then he will change. But the goalkeeping error, which was a mistake from you for not starting your best goalkeeper, it backfired. And after that, every other change he did was a panic change because it wasn't working. Lastly, Saka no. Look. When Man City won the league 2 seasons ago, who was the best player in the league?
Phil Foden.
Where is he? He's now sitting on the bench.
Yeah.
Because he's not cutting it. This high-level football, you owe no loyalty to anybody. The team comes before individuals. When Odegaard wasn't doing well, it's not tapping, he tapped Odegaard and Eze was playing. So if Saka is not playing well, why does he have to start every game?
He hasn't been playing well for a bit.
For a long time. Look, it's so bad.
The whole season.
Look,
to be honest,
it's so bad that yesterday's game, even when he was able to isolate O'Reilly one-on-one, that guy couldn't even get past O'Reilly. when you have your opportunity as a winger, every manager will try and form tactical scenarios where you are isolated one-on-one with your winger so that your skill will come to bear. You couldn't even get past O'Reilly. You can't even take him on and get past him. And when you're able to cut in, the decision-making too is poor. You get an opportunity, slip a pass, then he's taking an extra touch and an extra touch. And you can tell that it has entered his head. He's beginning to second-guess himself. So save him and don't start him. Save him, save the team. Don't start him. Let Madu play. When Madueke came on, it's not like he had the best game. But at least he was causing some problems because he's direct and he will take on City players. Even that, there were 4 players in front of him. And then the one who was moved to number 10 is sitting there. His positional awareness as a number 10 is off. His everything is off. He doesn't know whether he should come and help Madu or he should stay at the number 10 position. But he's just looking fresh and he's looking around. It's not working. These are some of the things that will cost you. So I'm really hoping that Arteta has learned his lesson. Because you can't make some of these mistakes at the high level. Look, they'll punish you no matter who the team you are facing.
And Manchester City did it.
City did it.
All right. Okay, Danny K, thank you very much.
Congratulations to Semenyo
of Man City. Congrats to Semenyo, his first major trophy of his career. We're all very proud of him. Unfortunately, tonight we're unable to bring you any more highlights from across Europe, but you already know the results. And the one that a lot of you want to comment on is the one by the Reservoir Man.
There's nothing new to say.
I'm not fighting that name anymore.
There's nothing new to say. Everybody.
There's nothing new to say. Anyway, so guys, I hope you enjoyed your holiday, long weekend. Tomorrow you return to work again. Sichu, thank you. Great conversation and a great presentation on the Senegal case. Danny K, thank you very much. We thank our sponsors, Piva, Guinness, Soccerbet, and Syntex Tank. My name is Fentu. A big shout out to my producer and director for coming to do this on a holiday. We're back again next Monday. Until then, do take care. Bye-bye.